A lot of people make resolutions to give attention to people, or be kinder, spend time with their parents or their children. If you think about a specific way in which you might give someone who needs it more attention and stick to it and practice it, if it's when your child comes home from school, to make sure that you're absolutely there and available and that you're not preoccupied with other things, and that's going to be the time you make sure that person gets their attention. If it's that, instead of saying, well, I'm going to call my parent every week, if you make a specific resolution that not only are you going to call them, but you're not going to do your email at the same time, you know, or be on a treadmill to them, but give them your complete attention, you can't imagine the benefits that that can give. There's a story of somebody in the book whose spouse was self-employed and often stayed up late, watched a lot of movies while he worked, and then the next day he would tell her about those movies, and she could barely stand to hear about it. I mean, you know, movies she had seen before, and he would go through it, and she would keep communicating that she wasn't really, you know, busy herself with other stuff. And one day she decided, what would happen if I just gave him my entire attention about this movie? And she never became that interested in it, but she said the goodwill that was created was overwhelming, that she gave her complete attention. And as you shift this behavior and begin to do something, you begin to have a different experience of who you are and your own feeling of why it is potentially. She realized later that she felt some sense that, well, it was unfair that he got to see these movies when she had like a regular day job. If you sit mute in a meeting and you are afraid to participate, afraid of looking foolish or making a mistake, you can make a micro-resolution to ask a question in that meeting. Ask a question. Maybe you can't do it in every meeting. Maybe there's one meeting you're going to pick that allows you, and that you're going to ask a question. It can even be just to ask for clarification. It shows you're active. It shows you're listening. And when you ask those questions and you feel yourself in the moment doing it, the thing that you were afraid to do, you're going to experience yourself differently. And over time, you will lose your fear of doing that one thing, and you can extend it. You need to be able to practice doing something differently. How about if you always dominate decisions in a certain situation, either at home or at work? Maybe instead of leading with your opinion all the time and your very strong conviction, you let other people take the lead. That will be very hard if you're used to dominating in that way. Very hard. You might have to pick a particular situation. It could be some people dominate in everything. What there's going to be for dinner, are we going to go to the movies, you know, what we're going to see, what to do. You will have a more diverse set of strengths as a human being if you learn to let other people do some dominating, other people make some choices. Again, it's personal. You have to look at your own personal experience. What about complaining? Complaining is like an epidemic. People complain about the weather, complain about transit, complain about work. Now they have new science that shows, hey, it's not just boring to listen to someone complain, it's bad for your brain. It actually is. It strips cells out of your hippocampus. And so you're less productive. You know how everybody gets into a big bitch session? It's very lively. But then when they leave, they're kind of like, ugh, you know? Because you sort of shot your wad on all that complaining. One of my favorite sort of case studies in the book is of this woman who complained a lot at work. I mean, she was a complainer. She complained like the butcher gave her the wrong cut of meat, you know. The bus pulled away, and he saw her, but he pulled away. And she had a habit of complaining at work, but she thought it was like a group thing. Like, you know, everybody blows off steam at work. What's wrong with that? But then she was up for, there was a leadership position opened up, and she wanted to be considered for it, and she was told that she didn't have positive attitude for that position, okay? That she was a bit negative, and she felt very defensive over that. That she wouldn't be able to assume a leadership position. And she didn't think it was fair. She didn't think it was fair. Everybody complains. So she made what I consider to be a brilliant micro-resolution. And her resolution was not to be the first to complain. Not to be the first. Now that's good, right? That's something you can do. That's something you can do, not to be the first. And the very first day of this resolution, something happened in her workplace that she was sure everyone was going to complain about because she thought it was some management decision or something. But she remembered her resolution, she didn't say anything. And no one said a thing. And she realized from that one shift in behavior that it was her. It's not that nobody ever complained, but she was the locus of it. And by making that one change, she got all that personal insight. Okay, so if you can disrupt your autopilot responses at work, at home, in government, in the citizenry, and challenge yourself to make a change you're sure you know how to make, you are going to experience something different. And this is a point I want to make. We started out saying people make wannabe resolutions to be different. You become different by doing differently. You challenge yourself to do differently, and you will become different. You'll get these insights. And whatever you choose to do, you have to keep practicing it. You have to practice it. That's where the becoming part is different. So in this complaining one, even though it worked the first time, do you think the next time it happened she had to stop herself? Yes. You have to keep doing it. Practice makes permanent. Practice makes permanent. So whatever you're doing, you have to be able to do it and repeat it. Aristotle said, men acquire a particular quality by constantly acting in a particular way. You become just by performing just actions. You become temperate by performing temperate actions. And you become brave by performing brave actions. And in so many ways, when we talk just in terms of quality and being, we let ourselves off the hook for being better ourselves by behaving differently. We'll get you there. One small move can make a big change. We here today are living in the world of the small and powerful. Smaller and smaller microchips power smaller and smaller devices that have a bigger and bigger effect on our lives. iPods and iPads and little apps improve our productivity at home and at work. Nanotechnology is revolutionizing medicine. Microfinancing is eliminating poverty one family at a time. Critical communications arrive in a 140-character tweet, like the invitation I got from Pastor Oimadi to attend this conference came in a tweet many months ago. Small is powerful. And when you experience a transforming change of making a small change in your own life, you will be on your way to mastering the art of continuous self-improvement with the power to turn aspirations into action and into reality. Build Nigeria. Thank you.